What's up, everyone, and welcome to a new segment. We have yet to have a title for this segment yet, but I am Symone Stanley, Eagles fan here, and we have
Crystal Stone, a longtime Dallas Cowboys fan.
Longtime Eagles fan as well, but you know, I didn't have to say all that. So we are going to recap free agency. We're going to give a little recap the Eagles, give a little recap of Dallas. And we're going to talk about what we're most surprised by, what we're the most happy with, and what we want to see the team continue to do as the offseason goes on. And we could talk a little bit kind of about the positioning in the NFC East, because I think it's been a little shuffling now after we talk about Dallas's moves or lack of moves. But I'm going to let you talk about that. So give us a recap of what Dallas did, because y'all flew under the radar. I feel like not a lot of people know what y'all did and did not do.
Why are you starting with me first?
Because you have less to say. Y'all sound like what?
The Cowboys came home from the grocery store with no groceries, nothing. The Cowboys fan base sent them to the store to go get some food. We sent them a whole grocery list, and they came back with some candy. Okay, something that they absolutely don't need, no nutrition, doesn't help us whatsoever. But to give a recap, the Dallas Cowboys were the only team out of all 32 teams to not have any action on the first day of free agency, or like the pre-free agency day, which was, I think, last Monday. So that was pretty shocking. But if you're a longtime fan, you know that historically the Cowboys aren't very active during the first week of free agency. So it's kind of like their mojo, that's their philosophy. The only thing is Jerry Jones and the Cowboys management came out and said that they're going to go all in this year. So what did that mean exactly? Because they have not went in at all. They haven't even put their feet in the pool yet. Okay, they showed up to the party and they still have all their street clothes on, and they're not jumping in the pool. But to give a recap, the Cowboys list of departures is long. I think one of the most surprising ones or shocking ones, or the ones that hurt the most, was longtime offensive lineman Tyron Smith going to the Jets. A lot of defensive players. Okay, whatever. A lot of defensive players.
I won't be missing him.
I am. A lot of defensive players left to follow former Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn to the Washington Commanders, like of all places. So that includes defensive end Dorrance Armstrong, Dante Fowler, cornerback who wasn't really used that much, Noah Okwuegbunam. He didn't really play much, but he's gone. And then our center, Tyler Byard. That one hurt.
They all went to Washington.
They went to Washington, girl. They Washington Commanders now.
See, the Washington Commanders trying to lap y'all. They trying to jump y'all. They want to be our new rival.
Your team, like, what are you doing? Who told y'all to do that? And then just today, a few hours ago, Cowboys lost defensive lineman Jonathan Hankins to Seattle. He followed the former Dallas Cowboys defensive lineman coach, Aiden Durde, who was like one of the favorites. Like, if you watch the post, every time the Cowboys would win, the social media team will put out this video of like on the sidelines, and they will always, he has an accent. I think he's from the UK or something. So they will always put his subtitles in like this pretty English writing. So it's always really funny to see that, but he's gone. So he's taken our defensive lineman. Another defensive tackle, Neville Gallimore. He's only with the team 4 years. He's gone to Miami. And I think that made, oh yeah, of course, the bigger ones on offense. Tony Pollard, running back, he's gone. Michael Gallup, they just released him, which honestly, they didn't really use Gallup. I don't miss Gallup. I feel like there was an opportunity to elevate him, and that came and went without any fanfare. So him leaving or him being released doesn't really impact me that much as a fan. So yeah, that's the long list of the Cowboys that have left. The one free agent signing that really made a big splash was linebacker Eric Kendricks from the Chargers. And what was interesting about that is that he was about to sign with the 49ers. I don't know what Jerry said to Eric to get him to sign with the Cowboys, but they basically
swept when I saw that.
They swept him. I don't know. I want to know what the selling point was in those conversations to get him to leave the freaking
America's
49ers
team. You can play
No.
more.
with Mike Zimmer. I promise you. And then what was funny though, this is my thing about the Cowboys. Eagles, y'all was like, bam, 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 pop it out, pop, 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 pop. And then the Cowboys were like, oh, the Cowboys' first free agent signing. They've re-signed long snapper Tret C.
It was somebody random, like, and then like on the little free agency tracker, like we had a whole paragraph and y'all had like 2 names.
I mean, and I'm like, long snappers, hey, you know, they say long snappers win championships. So I'm like, okay, but that was so embarrassing. That was so embarrassing. Like, what the hell? It just like gave everyone fodder to continue to trash the Cowboys as usual. And then beyond that, they re-signed running back Rico Dowdle, who will continue to be a good backup for whoever the Cowboys bring in there. Cornerbacks Jordan Lewis and CJ Goodwin were re-signed. So that's good. With Trayvon Diggs coming back from injury next year, it's good to have those pieces in place. But yeah, that is where the Cowboys are. We have a couple of question marks. Cornerback Stephon Gilmore.
Couple of question marks.
He was. I mean, couple of question marks of the remaining free agents for the Cowboys who could either stay or go.
Oh, stay or go. I was about to say, y'all have more than a couple of question marks.
Oh, no. I'm saying the ones that we still have on the team as of today who could possibly leave. In fact, CBS Sports listed Stephon Gilmore as the #1 remaining free agent, like still available. So I hope he stays.
So you think y'all keep him?
If I wake up tomorrow or any other day this week and I see that Stephon Gilmore is gone, I'm done.
Oh, man, Gilmore, you might as well prepare. I could see him staying, though. I could see Stephon Gilmore staying because he really felt like he was popping G with y'all. Like,
and he had a really good – yeah. So that's where we are. Symone. I guess I'm glad you did let me go first so you can have your little party right now. I'll just sit back.
Well, actually, that took longer than I thought. I thought y'all only made like 3 moves. So I do appreciate that. We all know like everything we did because our moves made headlines. So, but the Eagles' first big splash, obviously signing running back Saquon Barkley, 3-year deal. We know former New York Giant. He's going across the highway, coming to Philly. So they asked him in his press conference, they were like, how does it feel to be on the other side of the rivalry? First of all, the Giants aren't our rival. But he was like, oh, you know, I've been on the losing end for the long time. So now it'd be good to finally be winning.
Damn.
Exactly. So Saquon Barkley, it's going to be so weird seeing Saquon like in Philly. It's going to be so weird seeing him in green, not seeing him in New York. It's going to be bizarre. Obviously, Saquon has had his injury proneness, but he has been playing at MetLife Field 8 games every year. We know how terrible that field is. So hopefully, you know, he can stay healthy here. We signed Bryce Huff to a 3-year deal, one of the top pass rushers from the New York Jets. So Bryce Huff here on a 3-year deal. He's wearing number 0. So he's going to be the second Eagle to ever wear number 0. So shoring up that pass rush. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, a fan favorite.
That one was funny.
Chauncey, I went through all the stages when Chauncey left because like we all wanted Chauncey to be able to stay so bad. He didn't like the deal he was presented, so when he left, we was talking trash. He was talking trash, but you know, it was just like a bad breakup. Like, you know, it didn't work out.
And people say things in breakups, but they really don't mean it, right?
Exactly. So now he's back. Like, that just has me so excited because Chauncey is literally like a heartbeat of a defense. Like, he's a heartbeat of the team, like an engine on the team. So Chauncey is back. He's wearing number 8, Mamba mentality. We also signed a few more of our own players. So we extended Landon Dickerson.
Let me turn it off. It just came on. Hold on 1 second.
Oh, you fine.
So sorry. It just turned on out of nowhere. Anywho.
You good. So we signed Devin White, linebacker from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So Devin White was a Pro Bowler the year before, obviously Super Bowl champion, had a little down year last year. He actually got injured in the game against us last year. So he was like, it's crazy. You know, I'm playing for the team that I got injured against, but he's on a 1-year deal. And he was just saying like, he's ready to prove why he was a top 5 pick. He's ready to prove why he led the Bucs to the Super Bowl, like remind everybody who he is. So he has us fired up after hearing his press conference. But of course we have to see it on the field, but still such a young player, like 26 years old, recently off a Pro Bowl year, recently off a Super Bowl. So a lot of promise, and our linebacker room has been trash. So it's really not going to take that much to, you know, pop out. We signed Matthew Hennessy, offensive lineman. So he's a guard and center. He's just going to be a depth piece, formerly with the Atlanta Falcons. So he's here now. We also signed Zach Bond, a depth piece, special teams, ace linebacker from the New Orleans Saints. And then we signed Oren Burks, another depth piece linebacker, going to be fighting, you know, to get on the field basically outside of special teams from the San Francisco 49ers. But hopefully he has some intel on the Niners, you know, so he can tell us what's up, We also, way early in free agency, we signed Tyrion Davis-Price, little running back from the Niners. He appeared in like 2 games, you know, wasn't really probably G. But it goes to show we're trying to get that intel, you know, get a little details. We signed Avonte Parker, a blast from the past, child. He's going to be fighting for a wide receiver 4. Shoot, he might be fighting for wide receiver 5.
Trying to get a seat at the lunch table. No, let me stop. Because watch you make a play on the Cowboys.
Right. Devontae Parker trying to get his groove back, child. But okay, so we definitely need to get some more wide receiver depth in here. But yeah, so we extended Jake Elliott, Jake the Make, our best offensive player who happens to be our kicker, unfortunately, last season. We extended our long snapper as well, Rick Lovato. And we extended our punter, Braden Mann. So 4 players within the team that got extended: the long snapper, the kicker, the punter, and Landon Dickerson, a guard. Oh, Brandon Graham is coming back as well on a farewell tour, 1-year deal. And as far as players who left, child, the biggest.
Fletcher Cox. Did he retire? You
well,
need
we'll
a moment?
get to our retirements, because you got some retirements. You got some retirements too. Who left? DeAndre Swift.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, DeAndre Swift, a short, fleeting Philly legend. You know, you can't keep them all. You know, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh, child. So we had to let DeAndre Swift go on to Chicago Bears. Nicholas Morrow, former linebacker, went with the Commanders. Marcus Mariota went with the Bears. Kevin Byard went to the Bears as well. So dang, the Bears swooped up Marcus, DeAndre, and Kevin Byard. God dang.
What?
And then Suo Opeta, offensive lineman of ours, went to the Bills. And then Jack Stoll, one of our backup tight ends, he signed with the Giants. But let's get into our retirements.
Let me ask you this though. So we both just went over our overviews of who came and who left. When you've shown all this emotion, which I understand, but when you compare those who left to those who were signed, like, how do you feel? Like,
amazing. The only person who left that I wanted coming back, we only had really one good free agent this round. That was DeAndre Swift. Like, you know how this season y'all got hella free agents that's fire? That was us last free agency. This free agency, the only person you saw our team last season, the only person who was worth a darn was DeAndre Swift on this free agent list. Like, all the other boys, like, the only one that was worth re-signing was DeAndre Swift. Like, all them other boys could have walked. Step on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm pretty depressed, you know, after going, you know, I mean, I only named 2 players. that got
but
added.
that was me last free agency. That's when we were losing like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Javon Hargrave.
Yeah,
like that's when we were losing Miles Sanders, like the bigger pieces, like y'all are now. And y'all was talking all that last offseason when we was losing everybody.
But here's the thing: the Dallas Cowboys, on one end, I have to stay level-headed because this inactivity and free agency has been over a decade. I mean, this is what they do. So
and y'all been losing over a decade, girl. Maybe if y'all would get some free agents.
Okay. So we're gonna go to the retirements, right? All right. So we're gonna go to the retirement. Yeah. So
you saying that like that plan is working for y'all? It hasn't been working.
I'm not saying that it's working, but what I want to say is it's when people are criticizing the Cowboys for not being active in free agency, you got to understand it's what they've done. Like, and it's been a criticism of theirs, but it's just they focus on the draft. That's how they build their teams. That's how they built their teams for a number of years. So unless they get in trouble, right? When they did the wide receiver experiment a few years ago and realized midseason that's not working. So then they went and spent the first round draft pick on Amari Cooper, right? So that could happen. But for the most part, free agency, they're not about that life. I wish they were, so we can win the Super Bowl. So the biggest retirement was Leighton Vander Esch, who for a while, it was a nice tandem with him and Micah Parsons, but he had struggled with injuries. He didn't pass the physical destination, I understand. So he just retired, which is kind of sad because he's very young. I want to say he came in maybe 1 or 2 years before Micah. So, Micah's only been here a couple of years. So to see him leave is unfortunate, but to bring in Eric Kendricks to kind of fill that void somewhat is helpful. But I think that's all that we had that retired. So our little LVE. You all had some major retirement.
Leighton was a dog, though. Don't act like y'all ain't gonna miss Leighton.
No, but he didn't play much this season either. So, I mean, yeah, we miss him, but he wasn't a factor this season, and he's been struggling with those injuries. And, we kind of went through a whole season pretty much without him.
Okay.
I'm okay. I'm okay. Many other things to cry about, and Leighton is not.
So we obviously lost an NFL legend, not just an Eagles legend, but an NFL legend. The best center to ever line up in the NFL, Jason Big Dog Kelce. Jason Kelce, we knew it was coming for the past 3 seasons. He's been flirting with retirement, so we knew it was going to be coming at any time. Obviously, when he set up that podcast, and he having a good time sitting up there, kiki. We already know. Once they boot up that podcast, you already know they're thinking about other avenues.
Right. Except if you're like a young player like Micah, who has his podcast already.
Micah just loves talking.
Right. He like being in the spotlight. But yeah, once they get that production companies going, the production companies, then
right,
ready to go.
Right. Once they start those other endeavors. So Jason Kelce, we knew it was coming. We already drafted his replacement 2 drafts ago because, again, we thought he wasn't going to be here last season. So we drafted Cam Jurgens, who's going to be his replacement. Jason Kelce basically handpicked him for us. So he's ready. I know everybody waiting on the fall off. Everybody waiting on the drop off. It ain't coming. You know what I'm saying? The tush push is still going to be pushed. Tush will still be pushed.
Don't they still have the owners meeting? They still got the owners meeting coming up.
Don't put that bad juju on us. They already said
I'm just saying there may be some changes.
As much as you praying over there, it's not happening. They said the tush push is here to stay. Okay. So Cam been practicing the tush push. He know what he need to do. Saquon. That with Saquon helping out with the tush push about to go crazy.
Those quads he has. Oh yeah.
We about to be pushing for 5 yards now with Saquon. But yeah, Jason Kelce, you got to turn the page. Can't dwell on it too long. Fletcher Cox.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Fletcher Cox is another guy who, again, for the past 3 seasons, we didn't know if he was coming back. The free agency before the Super Bowl run, we thought Fletcher was retiring, and then he ended up playing 2 more seasons. So we knew it was coming. That's why we got Jordan Davis. That's why we got Jalen Carter. That's why we load up in the trenches. But man, oh man, am I gonna miss seeing Fletch on the field, the leadership, you know, all the intangible stuff that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. You know, we're gonna miss all that. So Leighton, hope you enjoy your early retirement. Kelsey, I'll see you on the podcast. Right. Fletch gonna be somewhere hunting in the woods.
He has to live his best hunter life.
So
I'm still hurt. So, like, I'm hurt.
I know
I'm hurt.
Cause even like with Leighton, like
the best deal. That's the thing. They said something like he was okay with maybe not as much guaranteed money, or that it's really incentive heavy, and he was okay with that. Tyron Smith going to the Jets.
Oh,
so he was just, I'm like, dang, like it's like that, Tyron. Like you're just like whatever.
I love that Tyron left, y'all.
Okay.
That's one big dog we ain't got. So you telling me we ain't got to worry about Tyron and we ain't got to worry about Leighton? Those was 2 dogs.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever. What's the next topic?
Tyron is 33 years old. Tyron's old. I didn't know he was that old. I thought he was like 30. Oh, this game. Oh, they ended up losing. Dang. The next topic is what move? Well, I already kind of hit on this for me, but what move are you the most happy with?
Well, you know, I don't have much to choose from. We don't have many moves. We don't have many moves. So I would say, I remember when the news came down about Eric Kendricks, and you know, I look at my phone and I like, oh my God, I was so excited. But part of that was because, oh my gosh, the Cowboys finally made a signing, like, ooh, finally signed an outside free agent. So I would say Kendricks, Micah Parsons cannot do it all on his own, especially because they're using him in so many different ways, not just as a linebacker, but as an edge rusher and just all over the field. Having someone come in with some veteran leadership, that's going to help. And, you know, being able to keep some of the pieces that we already had in place, like Jordan Lewis and CJ Goodwin. You know, the Cowboys defense is one of the best in the league last year. And this was out Trayvon Diggs on the field. So keeping some of those pieces in place was happy. But the most happy about, you know, getting Micah some help on the linebacker side of the field. And that's all I got. It's literally our only signing. So
I'm obviously most happy with
Saquon.
CJ.
Oh, CJ. Okay, I thought you were going to say Saquon.
Because CJ, like, again, he brought so much energy to the team. He brought so much energy to the defense. Just a ball hawk, playmaker, something that we were really missing in the secondary last season, takeaways, just a vocal voice, ball hawkness. So not only did we miss his energy, but obviously we missed his impact plays. So getting him back in the secondary and just having him back on this team, because he, like, I feel like he's just like a vocal person that, you know, like, we got to step this up. Like, what's going on? Like, when it comes to lackadaisicalness. You know what I'm saying? So CJ, and then CJ is just like a fan favorite because he leaves it all out on the field. He's a dog. He talks trash, but he backs it up. You know what I'm saying? So just having CJ back. And when we lost him, like, so many hearts broke across Pennsylvania, across Bird Nation.
Back home.
And he was saying how this is the only place he wanted to be. It wasn't a question of where he was going to go. It was going to be here or nothing. And this is somebody who's played in 3 organizations now. He only played with us 1 season, but he sees us as home. You know what I mean? So thank you so much for coming back, CJ. Thank you for spinning the block on us. We appreciate that you didn't hold any grudges. And he said that himself, like, you know, he said things out of emotion, and just because he couldn't be here and couldn't get a deal done, he lashed out, he apologized, he grew. So we can't wait to have him back.
You know who I'm forgetting about? And I think it's because it didn't happen right in free agency, but Dalton Schultz, our former tight end, went to Houston. Yep. And you know, he left with some fanfare. He made some comments about the yeah, so Dalton Schultz leaving to the Texans.
He was talking trash.
Oh yeah, he talked trash on the way out. Cowboys. Oh, you said I broke up earlier. So yeah, he was saying that the organization's kind of ran like a zoo. There's so many distractions. They care more about the brand than they do. He's speaking about the organization as a whole, care more about the brand than actually winning games and whatnot. You know, I could agree with him to a certain extent. Jerry Jones has the most expensive or the most highly valued sports franchise ever, $9.2 billion. But yet we stay shopping at the thrift store when it comes to talent. And the thrift store is the second and third weeks of free agency. We know everyone is money. And they're like, Dad, can we go to McDonald's? I don't got McDonald's money. But like, why?
Right. Right.
$9.2 billion. So I know that the has nothing to do with the salary cap. I'm just joking there. But I just don't understand why the Cowboys always find themselves. Actually, you know what? I do know why. I'll read you something real quick. So Stephen Jones, you know, president of the organization, he was sort of responding to all the backlash that he's gotten from fans saying, hey, you said we're going to go all in. What are you doing? And he sort of repurposed the all in to mean keeping Dak Prescott, Micah Parsons, and CeeDee Lamb together this season and making sure deals done. That's what he meant by all in, not all in free agency and spending a bunch of money. And so they're saying that their philosophy is to focus on the draft. Will McClay, who is kind of like a quiet genius, like he's the brains behind the scouting and the personnel behind the Dallas Cowboys. He has been for years. He decided to stay this year. And so he's kind of the one who does all the scouting and all the personnel, and they focus on the draft. So that was kind of the Cowboys' response to, hey, you're not going all in. Like, no. We meant all in keeping, you know, some of our cornerstone pieces. That's like a guy, you know, who should straight up lie to you. He say one thing and then he's like, yeah, that's not what I meant this. And you're like, nah, bro, that is not what you meant. But what can we do?
What y'all got going on with Dak?
Oh, Dak and the sexual assault?
I wasn't even about to say that. You air his business out here. I'm talking about with his contracts.
Knowledge there. It's court records. It's been
What's going on? Y'all got a lot of drama. He in the court.
I know some ladies trying to what he claims is that some woman is extorting him for $100 million, claiming that he sexually assaulted her back in 2017. So that's kind of going through it's the deal, but they're trying to restructure Dak's contract a little bit to free up some space. I know they just restructured Zach Martin's contract, our legendary right tackle. So he just freed up like $13 million of cap space for the Cowboys. And I think they're just trying to do some restructuring of Dak's contract to free up a little bit more space. But you know, what's hard about that is, you know, we talk about numbers, we talk about the business, and we talk about the X's and O's, but it's not lost on me all the drama that happened toward the end of the season when CeeDee Lamb's family member came out and said something about Dak, and you know, all these things that were talked about, and you wonder, like, is there real cohesion in that unit? Do they really get along? Is this really working the way that Dak and CeeDee were kind of off the mark and during the Green Bay Packers game in the playoffs? Those are the things that worry me, right? I feel like personnel-wise, the Cowboys are going to figure it out. In fact, Stephen Jones was saying the way they see it, it's not we built this team right now in free agency and the draft. It's a 365-day process where you're continuously working to make the team better throughout the season. So fine. With that said, I just went blurry because I think I just went too close to the camera. But with that said, what are they doing for the interpersonal relationships for the Cowboys and what's going on with them in the locker room? You mentioned that Fletcher Cox. Let me see if I can unblur myself. Okay, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But you mentioned, oh, there we go. You mentioned that Fletcher Cox was like the leader on that unit. I can't tell you one true leader.
Because it ain't Mike Parsons the way he just be running his mouth.
But like, is he? And then you have DeMarcus Lawrence, who I feel is like he could be a true leader. But does he get them in check? Like who on that sideline during that Green Bay game was getting them in check? Nobody. And you got the head coach, Mike McCarthy, after the game saying, I don't know what happened. You don't know what happened. You the head coach. You coached the game. You can't tell us like, hey, I didn't have our guys ready. We weren't ready. We weren't prepared, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. So I know we're talking about the personnel changes and who we're bringing in and who we're drafting and free agency. But I'm more concerned about the culture of the team, which is what Dalton Schultz mentioned on his way out, was that the culture of the team is fractured. So the Cowboys definitely need to work on the culture, team culture.
So is Dak going to want to restructure if he got beef?
I'm trying to get back to being clear. I don't know if there is beef, though.
CeeDee Lamb mama was talking trash.
Yeah, his mama was talking trash, but...
And his mama was repeating things that CD had said to her on the phone.
Oh, Lord. I think... I'm trying to get unblurred. There we go. Okay, she cute again. I feel like Dak will restructure. Because my thing is, and I was just talking, I talked to myself a lot about the Cowboys. So my thing is, the Cowboys find themselves in these positions every year where, they can't be as active in free agency, or the good free agents go at other places, or they can't seal the deal with certain players. I think we let Jadeveon Clowney go. Derrick Henry couldn't get that deal done. And I think that's because...
I'm so glad y'all didn't get Derrick Henry.
Man, I thought that was a done deal. I thought Derrick Henry, especially, Tony Pollard leaves. I'm like, oh, boom, Derrick Henry. Girl, when that deal came down, I was like, bro, come on. What are we doing? We're going to get somebody in the draft and run him down to the ground and then trade him like we did Zeke. Okay, I digress.
And now who is y'all? Go ahead.
What?
Because now
I was going to say, no, we don't have a running back right now. We do not have a number one running back. Sick of you.
So y'all went from Zeke, prime Zeke, to we good. We don't need Zeke. We got Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard, a young cheap dog. We don't
he did
Zeke.
Good.
We got
he did
Tony.
Good.
He was Tony by himself. Tony break a leg.
He was outshining Zeke in his last season. In Zeke's last season,
he outshined out of town. Yeah. And now y'all left with who?
Rico Dowdle is going to be a backup, but that's number one.
Backing up who?
That position is open. If you know any running backs, and he was also seeing other running backs get signed, like Austin Eckler goes to Washington.
They went off the board quick. The running backs went off like boom, boom, boom. I was scared when because they were saying for like a month that we were interested in Saquon, but I don't know what's real, what's not when it comes to the rumors. So when Swift was gone instantly, as soon as that legal tampering light turned on, boom, Swift gone. I was like, it was like a 2-hour window where I'm like, please, we got to get Saquon.
Yeah. And y'all got
the running backs kept going off the board, child.
Yeah.
And y'all Cowboys got
one. Not a one. Because they don't want to, I don't know.
Y'all didn't even get one of the lower level running backs.
I'm telling you, the Cowboys shop at the thrift store. They got the money, but they're going to shop at the thrift store. So I don't know. I don't have a lot of high expectations for this season.
Dang, girl, it's only March.
I know, but I got to start telling myself this now. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, I believe, and then get to January next year and be like, oh my gosh, they're trash. No, I'm telling myself now, I don't have a lot of expectations.
Y'all usually do really good in the draft.
You know why? You know why, Symone? Because, and the reason why Cowboys fans get so frustrated during free agency, because at least with free agents, we know what we're getting. Because these are players, veteran players. We've seen them play on other teams. We know what their strengths and weaknesses are. We know what they would bring to the team. We know what roles they can truly fill on the roster. Well, when it comes to the draft, it's still a question mark, right? These kids are coming out of college. You don't really know what you're going to get, like how successful they're going to be. Are they going to be a bust? Are they going to be, you know, amazing, like Saquon, for example? And so then you go into the season like not really knowing, right? And then we have Mike Zimmer. Okay, great. But we don't like all these new things that are coming to the team. We don't know, but at least y'all know Saquon's going to ball, right? At least y'all know where you got Dallas Goedert going to ball. Like at least y'all know Gardner Johnson going to ball. Like, you know, these things. And so that gives y'all a lot more like confidence going into the season. Whereas Cowboys fans were like, bro,
hit on with the flex, hit on with the flex.
Flex, girl. Go on the flex and continue to lose to the Cowboys.
Girl.
Gonna lose to the Cowboys again.
Anyways, what do you want to see the little boys do?
Okay, so we're not gonna do little boys. We're Cowboys. That's one. We're gonna remain professional. Be professional.
What do you want to see your team?
All right. Biggest need now that the Cowboys have lost veteran Tyron Smith and the center Tyler Byard is either center or left tackle. That is the biggest need, and that should be first round pick. Offensive lineman, no joke. You got to protect Dak. And there are so many juggles up and down that offensive line all season long with injuries, folks in and out of the lineup. Got to shore that up. Running back, we just talked about that. Definitely need a running back. Can't be Rico Dowdle back there. And then with all the defensive pieces that the Cowboys lost, defensive end, defensive tackle, and then perhaps another linebacker piece to add to Micah and Eric Kendricks.
Okay.
Those are the biggest ones, but I would like to see Cowboys get an offensive lineman and running back in those first 2 rounds.
For us, we need biggest need is cornerback. Obviously, James Bradbury is still on the roster for whatever reason. Exactly.
How do you feel about that? James Bradbury?
You know, it's kind of like it's mine, so I gotta defend it. Like, you know, like
he's put you into some positions over the last couple of
kids acting up at school. Like you're not gonna like embarrass. You gonna take care of that at home. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Would I want James on this roster if I had the decision? No.
Yeah. Okay.
But he need to be a depth piece. He need to be, if the starting cornerback go down, then he could come in. We have to upgrade cornerback too.
Yeah.
Definitely have to do that. We also need definitely need, because Haason Reddick is still in limbo. Haason won a big bag. So we talked with some teams to see a trade partner, but they're saying that he wants $24 million. So there's people that's interested in Haason, but they're not willing to give him that money when he, gets traded. They're not willing to extend him for that money. So Haason is still stuck in limbo right now. It's given like a 70% chance we will trade Haason because Haason is 30 years old. He's a dog, but paying a big bag to a 30-year-old edge rusher is not the smartest move. We have too many 30-plus-year-olds with big bags on this team. Like, we have to get younger. Like, that's why we got Nolan Smith. We got Bryce Huff. Like, Bryce Huff was like, okay, we got Bryce Huff. We don't have to be as pressed for Haason. But if and when Haason does leave, we still need to add another edge rusher in the draft. I feel like in the draft, I think we can just shore up our pass rush in general, because when we were in the Super Bowl, we had so much pressure up front. That's why James Bradbury was looking so good. That's why our secondary was looking so good, because they only had to cover for 10 seconds. So definitely have to get our front line back smoking. So I think corner, defensive line is definitely our biggest need. We can always add another safety in here, some more safety depth, some more wide receiver depth. So Devontae Parker doesn't have to get too many snaps, you know, in 2024. Like this ain't.
Do y'all have the first pick?
Yeah, we got.
Okay. So what do you want to see first round?
See, we need, like, if everything stopped right now, we don't make any more moves free agency wise. We need to get a cornerback.
Okay. Like
best available cornerback. They were talking about Nate Wiggins from Clemson. I don't know if I want Nate Wiggins because he's a little smaller. And people saying he's not a dog. Like he relies more on his just like physical attributes and what he can do versus like basically like taking some plays off here and there. I really like Quinion Mitchell, but they're saying he's going to go higher in the draft. Kool-Aid is another guy that's supposed to be good. So I definitely want us to go corner right now, but Howie never goes corner in the first round. Like these last couple of drafts, we've needed a corner in the first round. We've needed best available corner, and we didn't do it. Like we'll wait till the third, fourth round to get a corner, don't develop him. So when free agency comes around, we got to sign a Slay. We got to sign a Steven Nelson. We got to sign a James Bradbury because we didn't draft one of those corners in the draft. So that's what we need to do, but we don't do it. We never go corner. I don't know why. We always go D tackle, D lineman, or O lineman. Which this time I'm not like super mad about because again, Fletcher Cox is retired. Boom, he's gone. Haason could be gone. But we have to address like corner. We can't start the season with James back there. That can't happen. That can't happen.
I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Well, I'm sure if y'all are just trotting out, what's his name? Who y'all got? Because Michael Gallup, who y'all got? CD and
oh, you're talking about the wide receiver. So CD Lamb. Oh my gosh, yeah. So Michael Gallup is gone. Noah, what's his last name? I'm blanking on his last name. And then we have one. Yes, and then we have one other one, one young one. I can't think of his name right now, but
I think Bradbury would be fine.
Okay, whatever. You know what I was thinking about when I was talking about the Cowboys culture, you know, low key Eagles culture, you know, I think was an issue this season. Wouldn't you agree? To go from winning like 10 straight games.
No, it was kind of culture, but it was more so we had two rookie play callers. Like our offensive coordinator had never called plays. Our defensive coordinator had never called plays. So it was kind of like the players weren't on the same page with the coaches. We were playing bad all season long. We were just getting away with it earlier this season. Like that 10-1 could have easily been 5-6. We just made lucky field goals. We got lucky stop. Like we got lucky in that 10-1 stretch. We could have easily went 1-10 to start the season. It just showed itself.
I'm thinking about that moment on the sidelines. I think it was in the playoff game where Jalen Hurts is sitting there, and I forget who it was that came up to him and was like barking at him. Do you remember that moment?
Was it Dallas Goedert?
Maybe, I'm not sure, but he came over.
Many little sideline disputes,
and it was, and I feel so bad for Jalen in that moment because he looked so like kind of sad.
They be cussing Jalen out. He just be sitting there like this.
He just be sitting there, just be like, "Oh my gosh!"
He just be looking dead straight.
I feel so bad for him in that moment.
Somebody be like this, and Jalen just be like,
right. Next play.
He really do. He always because he got cussed out a couple of times, and he just be like
tuning out the noise.
Somebody throwing a helmet past him. He just y'all see him? I could see. I think time would tell with the Eagles because I feel like low key there's something there. I could see. I mean, I think it helps that you all made such great splash free agency moves, like right off the bat. And coaching, don't try it. We got veteran coaches in here.
Okay, I'm just saying. I think it remains to be seen if some of the things that we saw on the sideline if that was just, as you said, a product of first-time offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, you know, some of the experimenting they were doing on the coaching staff.
Yes.
Remains to be seen. Okay.
That is a fact. And you hear several players, key players, coming out and saying, defending the team, defending Nick Sirianni. So many players, like AJ Brown went on the local radio station, was on there for 30 minutes, defending Nick Sirianni, defending Jalen, defending the team, defending what was going on in the locker room. Like, he went on a media hiatus during the season where he wasn't talking to the media because they were twisting his words. And then as soon as the media started attacking Nick Sirianni, he literally broke his silence to say, there'll be no Nick Sirianni slander. So the players 1,000% back Nick Sirianni. You hear all these free agents saying the Eagles culture, the Eagles culture, the Eagles culture is what they want to be a part of. Like, so I have no doubt in my mind, you know what I'm saying, that we're going to be just fine. Did we have a little drama? Did we have some spats? Yes.
Okay. Okay.
I think you need to worry about
Cowboys. I can say the same thing. They had some drama with the spats, but it didn't help that Dalton Schultz like leaves and go like, "Oh, it's like a zoo over there, man." But you know, it didn't help that.
So far, nobody has aired us out. We've had a couple free agents leave. They ain't say she. We had someone spin the block because they wanted to be here so bad, Crystal.
True. Were they talking about maybe bringing Ezekiel Elliott back? That talk has been out.
Zeke?
Maybe.
That ain't going to do nothing for y'all. Zeke passed, dude.
I mean, he did okay with the Patriots. He did okay.
He had, what, 5 carries?
5 carries with the Patriots?
Yes.
Why do I keep going blurry? See, I think it's when I hear something I don't like.
Let me see what Ezekiel did last season. Because I don't remember him. Cleveland, clever Cowboys free agency move slams door shut on Zeke.
Oh, okay.
So he had 642 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Okay, not the best, but he put up.
I didn't know he was getting that much play time.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe Zeke left, y'all. I never thought.
Yeah, that one hurt, and it hurt because it was the 214, the Dallas area code 21, and Dax is 4, and what I was trying to allude to a little bit earlier is that the Cowboys' failures when it comes to the playoffs puts them in these positions where they're having to like wrangle their hands and figure out how to keep all these pieces on the team, right? And not just failures on the field, but the failures within the coaching performance. All of that is leading them here. Not the players that they bring in or the players who are leaving. It's what they are unable to do when it comes to playing up to the expectations that leaves them at the end of each offseason. Like, all right, we got to figure out how to keep Dak. We got to figure out how to do this. We got to figure out how to do that. Well, did what you're supposed to do on the field, or if you did what you're supposed to do as a coaching staff, the Cowboys probably wouldn't be in this position.
Well, I guess we're both hoping, that, we're hoping that things change and rearrange. Y'all are hoping to provide a spark, Y'all need
to say, don't speak for the Cowboys. I can do that. Thank you.
What do you think? Because you were speaking on us and our culture when it's just fine. Thank you.
I was just asking. I literally asked a question and brought up an example of how you could see that there may be some fractures in the culture.
That is not a fracture in the culture. That's saying, come on, big dog, bring that big dog out. Woof, roof. You know what I'm saying? That's called motivating, demanding the best out of somebody.
And then when you look at how Dak and CD kind of got into it a little bit, or they were kind of off, I just feel like we're cool. Like, I would be like, bro, like pull him to the side, be like, bro, da da da. But for it to be like this weird thing, and then your mom comes out like, days later and says something crazy, it's like, oh, come on.
And then Tad Prescott saying,
Tad Prescott got a mouth on him, man. Oh my god,
bro.
He is something else.
Y'all got too many personalities.
Yeah. A lot of too many that have platforms.
that don't need one. Why are we hearing what his brother is saying?
Right. Why do we care what his brother's saying? What other brother or sibling other than who's out there like that, other than like Jackson Mahomes, who was just getting into trouble and like causing
right? And now look at him.
Yeah, he didn't even get to go into my understanding. He didn't get to go.
So y'all got Dak's brother running his mouth and CD Mama running his mouth. Child, you don't need to be worried about what we got going on the sideline.
Okay. I know. It's got stuff to clean up. They got stuff to clean up. But they got Dak being sued for sexual assault, Lord.
Oh, yeah. Right. Y'all got a lot brewing.
Cowboys got a lot going on.
Well, this was a great first episode of whatever we're going to make this. So go ahead, let the people know where to find Miss Stone.
Yes, I'm trying to get blurry, but you can find me on the Twitters /X, formerly known as Twitter, at @CrystalStone_, and Crystal is spelled with an H. I'm on Instagram as well at @CrystalStone_. And then I'm on TikTok, but I can't remember my name on TikTok. I think it's CrystalStone402. I got some generic thing. And I'm just starting to get into TikTok. You know, Symone.
Right before they snatched it down, because they about to take TikTok from us.
I know. And it's so funny. I did a story about the TikTok ban.
I saw that with the athlete talking about building her brand.
Oh, we repost this real quick. So it's interesting that we're probably in this space where I don't think they're going to ban it. I just don't think that's happening. It's too much. I don't know how they're going to work around it, but it's not, TikTok is not the only company that's taking and using our personal information and using our data for whatever reason. It's just that it's a Chinese company. Facebook has been doing what TikTok is doing. Twitter has been doing what TikTok is doing, taking all of our information. That's why when you're talking on the phone and you go to Twitter and all of a sudden you see posts about what you were just talking about.
Instagram too.
Yeah, they're doing that. It's just that it's the Chinese company. You don't want a Chinese company, a rival of the U.S. or enemy of the U.S. using information. So yes, I'm on those platforms. CrystalStone_, Crystal with an H.
And y'all can find me, Symone with a Y_Stanley on Twitter, SymoneWithTheSports on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram.
Well, this has been fun.
Are you gonna wave bye?